Alright, so I just wanted to make this very clear on this channel that I am a Christian. And I believe that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, the one and only God. And that what he says is good and true, we should believe and know that what he says is good and true is good and true. For he's God. He is God. And if he is God, a classic if-then statement, if he is God, then we should follow his commands. Because we are the created, and who are we to deny the creator? So main point of this video, a lot of people, this statement, accept people for who they are, is so overused in our culture that nobody actually knows what it means anymore. It's kind of sad. Because it is a very, very important thing to know what it actually means. Okay, so there are two ways that people consider this, right? Oh, who they are is who they say they are, and that is what they say they are is 100% true, versus who they are is objective, and who they say they are is very, 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 very subjective. All right. I'm just gonna let you guess which one is the actual good, right option. Option 1 or option 2? You guessed it, option 1. All right. Who people are is very objective. Who people are will never change. Like in the rare case, it will never change. All right. For example, if you're like white or black or Hispanic, and you have that skin, or any skin color, that's the skin color you're gonna have for the rest of your life. It might get more pale if you spend less time in sunlight. It might get less pale if you spend more time in sunlight. But that is going to be the general overall color of your skin for the rest of your life. Same goes for hair, unless you dye it. But then again, the dye can wear off, or you can get it to be your original hair color. If you're tall, if you have big hands, if you big nose, large mouth, small feet, those are all very objective. Those will never change. Those are a part of who you are. All right. Who you are, the overall thing, who you are is who you are in Christ Jesus. Like if you're a Christian, it's who you are in Christ Jesus, who God says you are. And for everyone, who are you? You are made in the image of God. So you are an image bearer of God, no matter what you do or say or think. Right? So who you are is what God says you are. And it can also be like your character traits that are God-given. Like if you're naturally just upbeat, naturally energetic, that's a character trait that will probably be with you the rest of your life. Versus who you say you are is very, 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 very subjective. Believe me when I say this, it is super, super, super subjective. Now, here's where some people, if you've watched this far, will get very, very mad. They'll be like, oh, who people say they are is what we should believe them. Who are we to judge what they are? Who are we to judge, decide whether or not what they're saying is true? There is some truth to what those people might say, to that statement. If somebody says, oh, I'm a professional athlete, I can look at them, and they could be visibly 350 pounds. Or not 300, visibly 400, 500 pounds. And I could have my own opinions or doubts about that. But who knows? They could be a sumo wrestler. All right? So I can't I can't really prove that they're not necessarily. I can a little bit. I could say, unless you're like a sumo wrestler or a sport that requires heavy weight, maybe wrestling, you'd be in a weight class of your own. Then, unless you're in any of those sports, there's no way you're a professional athlete. And they also can't prove it. They also can't say, without a shadow of a doubt, they also can't tell me and make me believe that they are a professional athlete unless they prove it. All right? So some things, yes, some things we are not in the place to judge. But if someone is 500, 400 pounds, I highly doubt they are a professional athlete. Right? If somebody says they read a lot of books and they have a library in their house, or somebody says they read a lot of books, all right, that's something I can't really contest unless I actually I know them. All right. Now, here's the more relevant topics for this video. Somebody can say they are black when they're very, very white. That is not true. I can tell you very objectively, you are not black. People try that, believe it or not, nowadays. You are not black. That is something I can say that you are not. You can get all mad at me. You can say you're 1% Nigerian. I don't care. You are not black. Alright? Now, if you say you're trans, and that's also complicated, like one you have to be very clear about, right? When I say trans, I'm talking about a person who thinks and believes they are the opposite gender when they are not. So, for example, a man believing they're a woman, or thinking they're a woman when they're not. So yeah, when I talk about transgender people, that's who I'm talking about. People who are actively transitioning or actively have transitioned and are practicing being female or male when they're actually male or female. If you have the temptation to be trans, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the people who are actually taking it into action, all right? Who are actually acting upon it, all right? Do not give way to those thoughts if you are being tempted. But yeah, if you say you're a male when you're a female, that is not true. That is not true. And you can prove that to me. I can prove that to you. Because if you're actually male, but you're claiming to be a female, I can kick you in the balls. And if you rear back in pain, like, obvious, like, oh, I'm about to die pain, you're a guy. It's that simple. Alright? And away from common sense, since Jesus is God, what Jesus says is good and true is good and true. And I can be confident that it is good and true. And Jesus says that being transgender is bad. Like, acting on it is bad. Being sexually immoral, which is being a homosexual, a practicing homosexual, and, like, I would go into the rest of LGBTQIA, but I don't know what the rest of them are. So, I'm just gonna stick to these ones for now. If you are an active homosexual, that is sin, because Jesus says so. Why does this matter? Who you say you are is subjective. Who you are is objective. People can say and give proof of what they're saying to me about who they are. Some things I cannot argue with. I can offer my opinion, but some things I'm just not in the know. Like, I'm just not in the all-knowing. But if somebody says something that's blatantly untrue and blatantly goes against what Jesus tells you to do and what Jesus commands, then that is not true. And the whole accepting people for who they are, yes, I'll accept you for who you are, but I won't accept you for what you identify as or what you say you are if it goes against Jesus. If it goes against what Jesus says and what Jesus commands. Any questions down in the comments? Any arguments down in the comments? I'll see you.